I told a caller on a radio station several years ago, you don't really care whether the Bible's true or not. As long as it sounds good, seems good, feels good, and looks good, that's all that matters. Remember, a wide assortment of chemicals and other escapist activities will provide a similar euphoria. Our third letter comes from a reader in Shreveport, Louisiana, who says, "Many thanks for the continued excellence of BE. It's a monthly delight. You are doing a valuable service. I have one quibble, however, and that's with your banner headline showing the ripped Holy Bible. You're trying to get people to critique the thing, not to rip it up or burn it. I think the symbol is bound to put off some believers who won't get any further." My response to this letter was, I can't think of a better logo to represent this publication than a Bible torn in two by its own contradictions, errors, and fallacies. It would be unethical to water down the external appearance in order to attract readers. The general tenor of BE's information is immediately evident to anyone who reads its subcaption, which is the only national periodical focusing on biblical errors, contradictions, and fallacies while providing a hearing for apologists. If you're trying to make everybody happy, then you've embarked upon a journey to nowhere. We tell people what they ought to hear, what they need to hear, not what they want to hear or what many are used to hearing. Millions have been deceived from the beginning, and there's no other way to correct the situation than by giving them a lot of information that is discomforting. Like dramatic surgery, it's painful but necessary. Otherwise, the patient's doomed. If you try to be all things to all people, you end up being nothing to anybody. Incidentally, John Halley's book entitled Alleged Discrepancies of the Bible, which is an apologetic classic and is in most Christian bookstores, has a ripped Bible on the cover. Our fourth letter comes from a reader in Lubbock, Texas, who says, "Your work and level of scholarship are absolutely invaluable. I know the nature of your work requires a pretty serious image, but I hope you will occasionally sit back, blow the foam off a cold one, and really make fun of them. They make it so easy," and he stretches out the word easy. "It's so therapeutic." My response was, I probably should build out some belly shakers now and then with some intermittent satire, but that's never been my style, as you probably noticed. Our subject is as serious as a heart attack for millions. People won't think I'm taking the subject seriously, although I certainly do, if I try to influence and persuade with humor. Another problem with humor is that it's usually based on a clash of opposites, which, technically speaking, are often exaggerated or inaccurate. Humor usually sacrifices precision for effect. I guess what I'm saying is that I've always chosen to be right rather than popular, and that's probably why I'm neither rich nor famous. Everything that's prospering is pandering to the lowest common denominator, the LCD. Is it any wonder that the media, for instance, can rightfully be described as a vast desert with an occasional oasis? Our fifth letter comes from a reader in Grand Junction, Colorado, who says, "Why do you do this? I mean, I'm all for it and enjoy reading about the Christian religion, but what motivates you to put in what is evidently a lot of work?" In reply, I said, "Because it's sorely needed and nobody's filling the void. Tens of millions of people are receiving a totally biased presentation of a book that colors their views on every topic from knitting to nukes. People constantly debate politics, economics, and sociology. Yet the most important subject to millions, the Bible, the topic that controls their attitude toward all else, remains unquestioned, somehow out of bounds, off limits. When this is combined with the fact that the book contains a tremendous number of contradictions and erroneous teachings, the need for an in-depth critique of its contents becomes imperative. If there is any topic that should not be sacrosanct, it's the Bible. Untold numbers of millions are being adversely affected by its contents. The sixth letter is from Sonoma, California, and says, "There's a guy here in the coffee shop with a gold cross earring and long blonde hair reading a Bible and drinking lots of coffee. If he gets up to go to the restroom, I'll place a copy of B.E. on his table. All the employees here at the Good Earth coffee shop enjoy B.E., even the churchgoers," which confuses me. If they know the Bible isn't perfect or from God, why do they quote from it or use it as a valid source? The cashier quoted Jesus to me one day, and I replied, "But Paul disagrees with him. Now what?" She just looked confused. The next day, I gave her a copy of B.E., which had this section entitled Jesus versus Paul. She later said she enjoyed it and wanted to take it to her preacher.